Hello and welcome to Noni, YANGA's flagship talk show where we discuss all the hot topics. Today we take a look at love and relationships and we ask, can you be friends with your ex? Joining me today, presenter Tosin Yusuf, broadcast journalist Afia Adam, and social media star Esther Falana. Welcome, ladies. Pretty. Look amazing. Now, whether you're in your 20s or 90s, hopefully you'll know what it feels like to be in love. But what is love? How quickly does it happen? And can you really fall in love the first time you see someone? Esther, do you believe in love at first sight? I've got a stat here that says about 72% of Britons believe in love at first sight.
I personally don't believe in love at first sight. Reason being, I believe that it's all about compatibility as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yeah, I believe in attraction. You know, you can be attracted to someone highly and you can lust for someone highly at first sight. Yeah. But to say that I've fallen in love with you at first sight, I don't believe so, because there's a lot more things to love than just image. I think there's a, you know, are you compatible culture-wise? You know, do you have the same morals and values? Do you want the same things? So I think falling in love at first sight, I don't believe so.
Well, 72% of people do. Afia, what is love? And I'm not talking about loving your daughter or your parent. How would you describe being in love with someone?
Just giving me the big old question, didn't you? Do you know what? I think it's a feeling, isn't it? And it's not just one thing. I think it's a whole collection of things. Like Esther said, it's about compatibility. It's how that person makes you feel, how you feel when you're with them. And if it's easy, like I'm sure we've all thought we were in love with people, but being with them is a chore. Like you literally,
it's not love.
It's not love, and it's not fun. But I think it's just if everything is easy with someone, and it's definitely a feeling. It's kind of like you can't fathom it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a specialness with one person.
Gosh,
that's why
I feel the love, girl.
You know?
That was a good description. Tosin, have you ever been in love?
I have never been in love. I thought I've been in love, but it wasn't love. It was just a lust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is the main difference?
Love is when you just have a selfless attraction to someone. You always want to be around them. You're comfortable with them. But lust is just when you take out the physical attraction, what else is left?
Yeah.
So that was definitely what it was.
Do you think we use the word love too frequently? Love you, bae. Oh, love that dress. Oh, love, 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 love. You know, so it's like the real. That's why some people do think that, you know, they love somebody at first sight. You know, you spend an hour with somebody, or you know those reality shows. I won't say their names that are on, and they're like, I love you, bae. Yeah. After like 8 days. Do you think it's because we just frequently throw out that word?
Yeah, I think just as Tosin said, like, you know, we can mistake lust to love. And I think we throw it out way too loosely. Like, I personally don't tell nobody I love them, except for my daughter and my family. If I'm dating you...
Have you ever told somebody?
I have, of course. Okay. I've been in love, so I definitely know the difference between...
You were in love.
I was in love. But then I think as time goes by, you know, there's a lot of factors that's why I said that love is not something that can just be seen. It's so much deeper than that. Wow. So I believe that in the UK we use it too, even in Africa, you know, sometimes, you know, and sometimes love in Africa doesn't have any value even. Like, let's be honest, it doesn't. Like, it's sometimes, like, you know, I remember there was a time where I was like, Mum, I just don't think I can do this anymore, when I was in a relationship. And my mum was like, forget about the love. Do you think your heart is always going to be doing do-dun, do-dun, do-dun? And in my head I was thinking, Mum, my heart needs to be doing do-dun, do-dun, do-dun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so in Africa, I believe that they don't really value the word love. It's all about, you know, what is morally right in their eyes. Whereas for me, I need to be with someone that I love, because this is the rest of my life that I'm spending with someone.
I think there's a real difference between loving someone and being in love with that person.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference. Like, you can, you know, say to your friends you love them, say to your family you love them, but being in love with someone, I think, is a completely different thing.
I agree with that.
And I totally agree with what you said, that sometimes in Africa the word can be like just banded about. I remember
love you, baby.
Yeah, I remember dating a guy in Ghana. I'm not gonna name him, but his name's probably Kofi. But I remember dating this guy, and like after 2 days, he was like, "I love you." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure that you don't."
Yeah. Like, but you fell for it.
Of course I did. You know me too well.
Yeah. But do you think, Tosin, because you say you haven't been in love, but you thought you were in love. Yeah. Are you scared of falling in love?
Oh, definitely. I have commitment issues, trust issues, because I just feel like dating these days it's really taken a negative turn. People are dating for the wrong reasons and all of that. And I want to get married once. I don't want to ever get a divorce or anything. So I want to get it right. So if I know that I'm not really in love, I'm not going to pursue it or get into a relationship. I don't want to get into a relationship just for the sake of it, just for Instagram goals. I want to make sure it's something real and something that would last forever.
Well, we all do when we get into it. But you know, let's throw it out on the table. As you know, what is it about black women and the cray-cray thing? You know, have you done anything crazy in love? Crazy in love?
I don't believe it's black women. I believe women are crazy. We are crazy. That's it.
Speak for yourself, Esther.
No, when it comes to love, we allow our emotions to cloud our judgment and we do crazy things. Like, I've witnessed it. I've been there, done that. Like,
What have you done?
Like, I've done some crazy stuff. I can't say it.
I can't say it at 9:30 in the morning. What about you, Avia? Are you brave enough to admit to anything crazy you've done in love?
Do you know what? I have done a few things. I'm going to tell you one of the less crazy stories. So this was when I was like maybe 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I was
legal.
Yeah, thank God. And I was dating this guy who was a skateboarder. He was like a pro skateboarder. That was his job.
Okay.
This is back in Glasgow in the early years. And I decided that I too was going to become a pro skateboarder. Of course I was. Because I really wanted,
That's part of the love. This is the love,
yeah. And I really wanted him to stay interested in me. So I also tried to learn how to become a skateboarder. I was absolutely terrible. Like, I was awful. And then he was sponsored by this big brand, and he broke his wrist, and they lost his sponsorship, and then I dumped him.
Oh my God, Afia! Okay, so you wasn't really in love with him then?
No, I mean, I was 18 years old, and I thought that I was, and it was just more the image thing, and it was the coolness. And I thought, if I can also be cool and learn to skateboard and do all these things, he will love me back. And I was just a girl.
See, that's interesting. You said you were only 18 years old. Tosin, do you think sometimes it's age as well? So if someone's 16, Mum, I want to get married. You know, I love him. We've been dating a year. Do you think, if you're a certain age, you could not be in love?
No, it definitely depends on the relationship in question. Some people get married at 20 and stay married for the rest of their lives. Some people get married later on. It doesn't matter the age. It just what matters is the connection that you have with the person.
Esther, can you be married? Married, yes, definitely more than once. But can you be in love more than once, do you think?
I think you can be in love more than once. And even I do believe, though, I know this is a bit biased to what you said. I'm going to go against what you've said. I do believe that I feel like at 21, at 20 years old, I think you're too young to be in love. I think you need to live your life and experience life, because I feel like a lot of us young people, well, I'm going closer to 30 now, but I feel like when we were a lot younger, in my early 20s, in my late teens, I'm rushing. We're all in a rush to do what our parents were doing, or have a family. And I feel like my mum used to always say to me, your time will come. Like, there's a time for everything. But at the time, when you're growing up, you never see that. You just see you're living for that moment. So I always do believe that young people should take their time. They don't need to rush and fall in love. Like, that time will come. Do you know what I mean? Live your life, experience life. And I feel like that's the mistake that a lot of young people do
rushing into relationships to be in love. Well, still to come, we look at the ways we change ourselves for the ones we love. And can you ever be friends with your ex? See you after the break. Welcome back to Noni. Now, there's always a little give and take in relationships. We compromise, we try and listen, and we also try to please ourselves and our partner. But for some, falling in love can be much more complicated. People have been known to change their tastes, friends, looks, and even their religion for their spouses. Esther, would you change your religion for your spouse?
No, and that just comes from my upbringing. Like, I can't. Like, I do believe that two religions can come together and coexist and cohabitate in one household and raise children. But because my grandma's sister's married, a Muslim, and we come from Christian backgrounds, so I do believe it's possible, and they're still together and they're happily in love. But for me, I wouldn't change my religion for a man. If I didn't believe in that religion and it wasn't for me, then I wouldn't do it for someone else. If it then becomes for me and I want to change it, then I wouldn't do it.
But not to please him.
Not to please someone else.
You said you did it for this guy, even though you was very, very young. Would you do something like that now?
No, not at all. And I think it kind of comes from what Esther said. It's an experience with age, right? So as you got older, you become more comfortable with yourself and who you are and in who you are. And now I think, listen, this is me. This is me. Whatever religion I am, size I am, whatever I do for a living, whatever you know, colour of my skin, whatever. This is me. And if you don't love me for me as I am, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I really don't believe that you should change for anyone. You should change your religion, change your size, change your socks. I just don't think you should have to do it. That's part of being in love with someone, and part of loving them is loving them exactly how they are. You can sort of mould a person to become better, but my mum always said to me, you can never change a man. So find someone that you don't want to change.
That's really interesting. Tosin, do you think, you know, there's a line here, you know, we spoke about religion, which is deeper, but, you know, what about if he says, you know, I like when your hair's curly, or, you know, I love that colour on you, a colour you wouldn't typically wear, but then you're like, you know what, I know he likes it, so I'm going to wear that on the day. Is that okay?
For a relationship to work, it's all about compromise.
Yeah.
But there's some certain things that's just changing yourself and changing who you are for someone else, and that's not healthy. So like, you can't change this. Imagine you're dating someone and he wants you to change your skin color or your
Shouldn't
hair.
be dating them in the first place.
Yeah, but
exactly. So
women have
things like
come out,
that.
popular women. Look at Toke Makinwa, her book, you know, On Becoming.
Yeah.
She said she was bleaching her skin to please her partner.
That's probably
you know.
why the marriage didn't work. So there's definitely a line. It's all about compromise. You definitely have to be able to come together for some certain things, but there's definitely a line you shouldn't cross. You can't change yourself for somebody
Let's
else.
talk about the line, Esther.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think minor things such as, like, for example, like if you've dated someone for many years and like he decides to grow a beard and like, you know, you might think, I want you in that beard. I like that. Do you know what I mean? So
Keep it growing, baby.
Yeah, like, so if, like, for example, the curly hair that you example.
Yeah.
There are some men that, you know what, babe, I really love the curly on you. You know, and as a woman, because you want to please your man, you know, one thing we need to also remember that our relationship is about compromise. You need to please your partner. He needs to please you. So yeah, you like curly on me, baby, I'm gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's something that for me to have done it in the first place and for you to have seen it, it means I liked it. So it's not like I'm changing myself. I'm just doing something that you prefer the curly on me than the straight, for example. So I think it's it depends. It's minor.
It's minor, and there is a line.
It's a fine line to tread, isn't it? There's a difference between, I totally get what you're saying, and I've actually had a partner say to me, oh, like, I like the hair straight, but I prefer the curly.
Yeah.
And it's just about encouraging you, maybe to try different things or step out of your comfort zone, but knowing your boundaries. Your partner should be able to respect your boundaries and know who you are and know how to say things in a way that makes you feel comfortable and encouraging you. Do you know what I mean?
Tosin, do you think women who are not willing to compromise in a relationship, you know, or during dates, that end up staying single?
Yeah, I have a friend, like, literally, she never wants to change anything about herself. She's an introvert. Well, she's dating an extrovert, and sometimes she doesn't want to go out that much. But I know he should respect what, your personality and the things you like to do. But, you know, sometimes make an effort. If he wants to go out, you can't always say no. Sometimes just say yes and all of that. So you definitely have to compromise and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, now this is a topic that can split friends. Can you be friends with your ex? And if you can't, would you allow your partner to keep in touch with an ex-partner they once loved? Let's give a scenario then.
Okay.
You know, ex for a couple of years. You know, she dumped him because she was travelling overseas. She's back in town.
Okay.
You know, can they meet for coffee?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That shocked you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, because you have to, if there's an issue with that, the issue lies with you, I believe, absolutely 100% with you, rather than your partner and the ex. He's with you now, like, say it's me, he's with me now for a reason. They're not together for a reason. And I think you have to be able to trust him.
She was out of town, but she's back.
Listen. I think you have to be able to trust him and be able to trust yourself that you believe in the relationship enough. And I think if you put your foot down and come across like you can't see her, it's only going to go against you.
Yeah, gosh, but you'd be out the window, wouldn't you? You'd be on your phone.
I'm going to be at another table in a different wig. Like, I'm going to be there. But I think you've got to
But
be able
you'll
to
allow
to
it.
give
You'll
him a bit
allow
of,
it to happen.
Yeah, let him out on a leash, right? And you've got to be able to trust him. And I think... I'm not friends with any of my exes. There's not been that many. And my partner is friends with some of his, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, Esther, what about you?
I'm the opposite. An ex is an ex for a reason, one. Though I think it, like, given the scenario of being with someone for a couple of years, etc., I feel like when you get into another relationship, there has to be some form of compromise. Part of that compromise is if you do have a relationship with your ex ex-friend or your ex-girlfriend, things like going out to coffee is off the market because you're now in a relationship with me.
Same for me.
Yeah,
It's
like,
dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's
And do you know what it
dangerous.
is? My mum always says, if you give someone an inch,
Hey.
they can take a mile. So you are almost opening the door for something to go wrong. And for me, I'm not saying you don't trust your partner, because you may as well trust him, but you need to also remember, before you came along, there was that woman in his life. So don't get it twisted. I believe, like I always say, like if, for example, female friends with my with a partner that you're dating, I agree with that, because that friend's got to become my friend.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
yeah.
But for your ex, your ex can't become my friend. It's not going
Are
to
you
work.
surprised that it's quite common that there are so many people? You know, we were discussing this when we were researching it, and most were like, yeah, of course. You know, they agreed with Afia. Yeah, of course you can be friends with your ex. Are you surprised that some people are that open, or are they pretending?
They're pretending.
No, I honestly think it depends on why the relationship ended. Like, I believe you can be friends with your ex, but I'm not friends with any of my ex because of why the relationships ended. So it all depends on the relationship in question. Why did the relationship end? But for the example you gave her, you guys were typically in love and she moved away and she's back now. Why are you having lunch? For what? This is someone you were in love with, and it's not because you broke up because of distance. So you can easily, now she's back. So it's very easy for you to go back into that relationship. So there's no need for any kind of lunch.
Like the devil's
No need for no date. I will be there.
The devil is knocking at the door, basically.
And the devil is a liar.
The devil is knocking.
Door
is
the
closed.
door is closed. In
closed.
Porsche voice.
Yeah,
but Afia, okay, right, you know, okay, and we disagree, but we kind of agree.
Yeah.
But what about female friends? You know,
Female friends, I'm okay with. Like,
of course you are. If you're
yeah.
okay with the ex.
like Esther said, female friends are going to eventually become my friends.
Yes.
That's the only way that it can be. And because I have male friends, I have many, but I have male friends, and I think you need both friendships in your life.
Let's
male and
define the
female.
friendship, because we're not talking about colleagues. Like, hey, how are you? This is my male colleague, and sometimes he calls for advice. We're talking about a girl that will call your husband and be like, he's done this to me. He's on the phone for half an hour, or he goes out of the room, or he's going to pick her up from a club. That type of friend.
No. There needs to be some boundaries.
Yeah, there has to be
Why is
boundaries.
anybody picking anybody up from a club? Excuse me. She can get an Uber. It's fine. Other taxi companies are available. Do you know what I mean? I just think as soon as you're in a relationship, then you need to put boundaries on those friendships. Like, I'm not going to let my male friends pick me up when I'm out. I'm not going to do that if I'm in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Because I think there needs to be...
Are you sure about that?
Not even that though. As women, like if I'm with my partner now and he's got female friends, I agree. A man should have female friends. I think it's unhealthy to say no, you can't have no friends. But I believe as women, as a woman, like his female friend should have respect.
Yeah.
My partner,
Don't call after a certain time.
My partner shouldn't have to tell you, don't do this. As a woman, you would know that naturally. Okay, he's in a relationship. Our relationship is going to change.
But sometimes women push boundaries.
Of course, but then
don't they, Tosin? Don't you think?
Of course, yeah.
When I was in a relationship, he had a female best friend who did not like me for some reason.
God, we can
And
see
then
why it's ended.
She didn't like me, and she was always against the relationship. And after we broke up, I found out that they previously had a thing. So,
you see?
yeah,
It all
The devil is a liar.
it depends on the female friend as well, and there has to be boundaries, respect, and all of that.
But
There's
in
no
fairness,
reason why
I
you
must
should
say
come
that
and-
when in my previous relationship, even like with my daughter's father, our relationship, he was a guy that had a lot of female friends, and the one thing I'd like to say is that the women in his life made an effort to become my friend, and that's what you have. That's why I said it's all about respect, and I also made the effort to make them my friends. Do you understand? So
that's how it should be.
that's how it should be. But then for those women who don't do those things, then there's a hidden agenda.
But don't
there,
you think
know?
sometimes when you have a friend who's a member of the opposite sex, you use them as that shoulder? So anytime you have a fight with the guy, it's like, right, I'm going to call this male friend.
No, that's unacceptable.
And I'm going to cry.
No,
You've never done that,
do you know it is?
Esther.
No, do you know it is? I have done that, but then that's where you have, like, that's where I've learned, that's where experience is coming, because as you get older, when you get married now, you cannot be running to a male to be discussing your marital issues. So you have to learn these things from early if you want a lasting, happily marriage in the future.
But Afia, if your partner has a female friend, surely as he does with his male friends, or as you do with your female friends, if you've got problems in your relationship, you're going to tell that female friend for that female perspective. It's a friend.
You can't, because that's where, like Esther Esther so rightly said, the boundaries come in. You can have female friends, but the thing is, don't be talking about my business to that female friend, because like you said, women have agendas. We all have them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? In the same way, I'm not going to stand there going
but it's true.
to go to my male friends and say he's done this, he's done that, he's done the other thing. To your female friends, fine, that's what they're there for. But to your male friends, you need to just keep it a bit 100.
Would you be
all about the
uncomfortable?
boundaries.
Yeah, I agree with you, Fia. Would you be uncomfortable, Tosin, to get with a guy who's very popular in the scene? You know, he's got females calling him all the time.
As long as you trust your partner, as long as they're respectful to you, then that's fine. They owe you the loyalty. That's why I don't understand why some girls chase girls and beat them up for talking to their man. He's the one that owes you the loyalty. Why are you fighting the girl? She doesn't know you owe you anything.
So it's all about loyalty then, isn't it, really?
Yeah? Absolutely. And I think, you know, if you do date a guy that is like popular, like you said, on the scene, you have to be very secure in yourself. Because if not, it will drive you mental.
Do you think it's strategic then, Esther, to become friends with your partner's friend?
Yes, it is. I'm going to make it strategic.
But would you respect the fact that she's more loyal to him?
Yes, I would, because that's her friend. That's her friend. One thing about me. Loyalty is everything. So if you're disloyal to him, and that's who I met you. That's how I met you through him. You will definitely one day be disloyal to me. So I always believe that you should remain loyal to your friend. But at the same time, if you want to have a good friendship with my partner, you need to also make me your good friend.
Gosh, yeah. Well, don't mess with our guys, ladies. That's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my fantastic guests, Tosin Yusuf, Afia Adom, and Esther Falana. Don't forget, guys, Noni is available online, so wherever you are in the world, go to www.yangatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Noni Chat. Goodbye.